Hi fam, welcome to Cooking with Abba. Today we're going to do one simple plantain recipe. Yes, one thing to do, or in fact, this is three things you can do with your plantain when they are overly ripe. This year, no wastage. This year, we became quick recipes which you can easily replicate and save time and save resources at home. So I'm presenting to you three baked plantain recipes you can take advantage of when your plantain is overly ripe. Already on this channel, we have the tatale, which is a shallow fry of your plantain, more like plantain pancake, something like that. Then you also have the kaklo, which is the deep fry option as well. And in that kaklo video, I showed you how to work with flour, how to work with tombrown, or what we call the roasted corn flour. And then I also showed you how to fortify your kaklo with vegetables in here. And I'm going to teach you other ways to go about that in this video. Do watch it till the end. So for this recipe, there's one section or one part which needs the fresh plantain leaves to bake with. If you don't have those, don't worry, you can just substitute it, but this also gives it a special feel. So when it comes to Ghana, we have what we call the epiti. Yes, so the epiti is baked in plantain leaves or banana leaves, which gives it that extra, taste, flavor, aroma, and that is the main thing. It is baked in the leaves. So you begin by cleaning your leaves. Yes, this was fresh plantain leaves. You just cut the leafy part out and then you wash it properly. And once you're done washing, you need to put it over the fire or pass it through the fire to really soften the leaf. If you don't do this process, if you don't let the fire get to it, you won't get your leaf very flexible enough for you to roll your mixture in. So you start rolling and it will all be tearing apart. But once the leaves goes in, it makes it more, should I say, flexible enough for you to just move it around. So I just removed all the plantain peels from it and then I just segregated it. So once that was done, I just blended in my vegetables and spices. So I had the garlic going in, the ginger, then pepper, the quantities you like. If you like it very hot, you can add more pepper, then the onion. Do you remember in my first kaklo video, I showed you how to fortify with vegetables. But sometimes you may have kids or you may even have adults who are not fan of full vegetables in their kaklo. So one way to go about it is to blend everything in. It is fortified, but I don't see it. So you just add in the vegetables. And over here, I was using the beetroot, carrot, and then spring onion. Then I add in my salt in the prickle. Everything goes in once. Then you just blend it all up beautifully. Yes, it's very red here because of the beetroot. But then once you're done cooking it in, it's all going to blend in and you don't have a problem with the color. So you then proceed to mash your plantains. If you have a potato masher, you can do it like I did in the initial kaklo video. You can also use your sanka, or traditionally, like we do here, you can use your mortar and pestle, especially when you have a large batch of plantain to work with. So you just pound all of these till they are smooth or fairly smooth, and then you then proceed to add in the blended mixture. Yeah, you can put this aside and you can then use your binding agent. So ideally you can bind with flour. Now I want to prep my patty tins as well. So you need to brush it out with some margarine or some oil so that it doesn't stick. So the first batch I did was with just the flour mixture, the baking flour, the pastry flour or the soft flour. So I just mixed that in, then it went into it. So yes, it's going to come out cuter because it's in the patty tins. Yes, you're going to have it smaller molds, and because it's flour, it's not going to be heavy in your mouth. One thing to notice when you're doing kaklo, you don't need too much flour in there, else the taste of the plantain and everything vanishes and becomes too heavy in there. You can check the description button for all the quantities to use for your ingredients. So I proceed to bake the next one, which I'm using the roasted corn flour, and this I'm going to bake in my leaves. Yes, so I just mix it up. Then I put in my banana leaves or my plantain leaves into my baking tin. So I made one, which was a bigger batch, and that took longer to bake. If you're having a very big portion like this, it can take a real long time to bake. This took like virtually 1 hour to bake. But if it was a small portion, if I divided it within 30-40 minutes, it should be well done. So it depends what you really want to do, the time you have, and how long you really want to tolerate your bacon to go. Yes. So you just cover everything up with the plantain leaf. That also makes it more healthy because it's adding its own vibes to it. It makes it smell nice too as well. Then I placed some smaller batches into the leaves as well. Then I rolled it. So this one, what I'm rolling, usually when it's done baking, we call it the epiti because it's baked in the leaves. Yes. So once it's done, just preheat your oven as usual, very high for like 5 minutes, and then you proceed to put all your plantain mixtures into it. Now you'd have to be rotating just a little, about every 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you should rotate it. And for the small batch, the one I made in the patty tins, the baked plantain, should I say cake? Yeah, baked plantain cakes. The smaller ones take very short time to bake. So within 20 minutes, you can do your first proofing. Use your toothpick in to check whether the inner part is still moist or is dry. Once your toothpick comes out dry, then it means it is ready. Then, worst case, by 30 minutes, it should be done. This doesn't take long to cook. Yes. So once that is done, you can let it cool down and then you can serve it as well. The epiti type also doesn't take long, just like those in the patty tin. Yes, and because it's also corn based, corn tends to absorb a lot of the water and it toughens up a bit early. So that one that's not to take time to cook. But the big batch I did, the loaf tin I did, because it was heavy, that took a longer time. And so you'd have to also be rotating that to make sure you get it good heat to bake properly. And you realize one thing, as it is cooking or it's getting there, the leaves dry up and you see that the color of the top of your bake begins to also look a bit different or less moist than when it is fresh. So you're just going to keep up till it's done. And by the time it's done, all the leaves on top will be very, very dry. And when you do your proofing check and you use your toothpick, you realize that the inside won't be mushy or moist. And once that passes the test, you just need to put off your oven and you can let it sit in for a while so that the heat goes in just to just finish up everything. So once it's dried in, you just have to just put your oven off and then you are done. So once you're done, obviously for the pretty type, the baked plantain cakes in the leaves, you'd have to take the leaves off when you're serving it. And then you can cut it nicely. You can garnish with some granules or add some granules because usually it is eaten with granules. Yes, so once that is done, you can then serve and enjoy your plantain. Yes, so don't throw your overly ripe plantain away and think that it is spoiled. No, you can use your plantain in every state it is. And we've showed you how to do with your unripe plantain for your plantain chips or for your fufu or even for your ampesi. We've done the semi-ripe or partly ripe for your eto on the channel as well. We've taught the ripe for your pekelewele. We've taught the overly ripe, the kaklu, the tatali, and today we're doing a lot of offam. There's also already an offam recipe on the channel where we used palm oil. Do check it out as well. And yeah, voila. Our baked offam luftin is also beautifully ready to be enjoyed. So just look at the inside. It's so soft, it's so reddish in because the plantain was really enough in there. If your plantain is not enough, you can get the beautiful look in there. So don't overly use your flour and make sure that you make every food moment count this 2023 and the years ahead with that. Yes. So you can just serve this beautifully and enjoy it any time of the day, especially in the afternoon. Yes. So just try this recipe out. do make sure that you share to someone. Do make sure you like. Do make sure you leave all your comments, your questions below in the comment section, which we'll get back to you on it. We'll reply to it for you. And do make sure that we'll see you in the next food moment. Live life to the fullest, be joyous, be merry, and let every food moment count. Lots of love for my team and I.